Shoreline is the #1 most underrated map in the entire game for making money. Let me show you guys why. Let's jump right in. Shoreline is without a doubt one of my favorite maps to make money on, and it has to do with just the straight abundance of loot. There is so much loot everywhere. Behind rooms, there are things like defibs, LEDXs, GPUs, and even without keys, there are so many places on the map where you can go and you can make a ton of money without ever having to key a single room. Now, in this guide, we're going to talk about things like the resort itself, breaking it down for anyone new. We're going to break down the best keys for West Wing, going through floors 1, 2, and 3. Same thing, breaking down East Wing, floors 1, 2, and 3. Going through admin and talking about two really underrated keys in admin. We're going to talk about the best keys for anyone starting off that wants to make a Shoreline set, as well as what are the keys that no one uses that I think are insane. And then we're going to talk about the new extract, the path to Lighthouse, which cuts the pretty much the running on the map down in half, which is everyone's least favorite part. So guys, we're going to jump right in, starting off with the resort. So we're at the front of the resort right now. We're on top of the helicopter, which pretty much marks the front of the resort. Now, there are three different parts of the resort. There is the west wing, which is to my left. There is the east wing, which is to my right. And there is the admin building, which is behind both wings, kind of in the center. And then there is a bridge that connects both the east wing and the west wing together, so you can easily transfer between both of them. Now, the resort is definitely where a lot of the players go. However, it is very easy to get in and get out without seeing a lot of action, as most players spend a lot of time looting their individual wings. Now, to get here on time, I'd recommend using an SJ6 stimulant, which pretty much just increases how much stamina you have and increases how fast you gain stamina back, so you can get here a lot faster. Now, you don't have to do this is optional, but it's definitely worth having because some spawns are very far away. But pretty much your main goal is you want to spawn and you want to run over here, as you can see on the map. You want to spawn on any of the PMC spawns and just get over to the resort, and then you can start on whichever side you are closest to, which is either going to be west side or the east side. So we're going to start off in the west wing now, showing you guys all the loot. So over on the west wing, most people end up walking in through this hole in the fence, and again, the west wing is to the left of the helicopter. Now, when you walk in here, just be careful of people waiting for you, because like I said, everyone kind of walks through this spot. So you have people kind of waiting up in these windows sometimes, or you have people waiting in that hut, and sometimes people will actually wait in this cubby back here. Just be careful of it, be mindful. You know, not all the time has this happened, but like it occasionally has happened. If you see this door close, someone closes, it always spawns open, so just be on the lookout for that. Now, when you walk in, this shelf contains things like power banks, cordoras, Plex, beard oil, stuff like that. Things worth looting, so make sure you always check this shelf for any free loot. Now, whenever I walk in here, I always end up going straight to Office 104, which is right here. However, there are tons of like medical bags in these rooms that you can go ahead and loot if you're looking for meds for a quest, or you're looking for meds in general, or you just want to fill up your slots and don't have that many keys. Those are all fine, but I'm going to skip those for now. Now, this is Office 104. Every single key that I need for, every single key that I'm going to use during this guide, I'm going to leave on the screen so you can go ahead and buy it yourself. The prices are going to change throughout the wipe, so I'm not going to bother putting prices up there. But this is Office 104. I already keyed this. I messed up, so I had to redo a redo. But in here, you can get things like LEDXs, like where this power bank is. You can get defibs. You see there's a golden star here. Blue key card actually spawns here. If you don't know, blue key card is a labs card. It's one of the like worst labs key cards. It actually is the worst, but it sells for 6 to like 12 mil, so it's worth, you know, if you get it, it's a really good money for you. Over here, you can get more meds like stims and stuff. And then what I always do is I always end up heading over to Office 112. So that's 104, and this is 112. Now, 112 was needed for a quest called Vitamins from Skier, but there's also a blue keycard spawn right on this desk right here next to this TV. And then there's also some food spawns here. You can get sugar, you can get Aliankas, things that are worth money for food, as well as there's 2 duffel bags worth looting, which can have a pretty good amount of stuff in them. Now, for free loot on first floor, there's actually this like gremlin PC over here that you can come loot that I never really touched, but if you don't have keys, this is worth looting. You can loot that, and you can actually get stuff inside of these weapons lockers as well. You can get, see, I got an SKS right there, so you know what, if you're pistol running, it might be worth checking. But you can check this, or you could ditch your friend's gear in here. No one really knows about this room, so you know, sometimes I throw my friend's gear in like the corner over here and then close the door, and no one really ever checks it. On top of that, or this industrial room over here. This room pretty much can have propane tanks, car batteries, cordoras, Plex. It was kind of empty this time, but I see definitely a good amount of stuff in here. It's always worth checking, in my opinion. And then over here, there's a duffel bag, which you can loot on first floor, worth some money. And then there is also a food spawn right here, as well as on the way to admin, there's a food spawn there. So make sure you're checking all those if you need to fill up your slots. We're going to move on to the first floor. Now, I'm sorry, second floor. Now, on the second floor, there are a bunch of keys. We're going to head over to one of my favorites. It's called 205. It's 205 or 203 West. You can buy either key. I'll put them both on the screen. And in here, there are things like med spawns here. There's a toolbox. There are defib spawns where these meds are. There's gold spawns on the nightstand. You can get meds here and a med spawn there. It can be like saline, something like that. And then in this room, actually, there's a red keycard spawn right on this newspaper right here. So it's worth checking just for that. And then there's a duffel bag here. And there's a med bag here as well as a med spawn. So definitely a lot of loot throughout this. And there's also a weapons rack. I don't really see much in the weapons rack anymore. There's also the weapons crate if you want to. There's a lot of containers on Shoreline, which add up to a lot of loot value overall. But I don't check them all, but I do check quite a lot of them. Duffels mainly, because duffel bags really, really, really boost your money on this map. There's just so much good loot in duffel bags, like Bitcoins. You can get Tetrises. It's really good. Now, on second floor, I don't really loot that much on here because being stuck on West Wing second floor really, really sucks. People can kind of pinch you from both ends, and like you can have someone waiting above the hole, and you don't really get that much audio on this floor, so I kind of like to skip it. But I will loot it if I need to fill up some slots. Now, 216 West is this room right here. It has a lot of good spawns in it, but it's a very expensive early wipe key because of the fact that it's needed for a quest called Lend Lease. There's a gyroscope in there. Now, there are tech spawns here, as you can see. This could be Tetrises, it could be GPUs. Right now we have lamps. It's not always like a GPU, obviously, but it can be. You get ammo spawns here, so you can get like 995, or you can get like really bad ammo like you see here. There's a vodka spawn here. I have seen a moonshine here in the past, not in a long time, but it has been here. And then there are some more medical spawns here, like you can get ibuprofen, Golden Star, and stims as well as a nade box. Now, moving on, there is a 3-part connecting room. It is 218, 221, and 222. I buy 221 personally. Whatever works for you. There's a barter for this one. It's called, I believe it's 8 chlorine will get you a 221 key from Therapist. It's fairly cheap. The keys are cheap regardless, though. There's a duffel bag in this room, as well as med spawns here and a med bag. And then over here, you're going to get money spawns on this table, as well as med spawns here. You see there's stims, and there is an IFAC there. Big weapons crate. These actually got buffed recently. I'd be checking these if I were you guys, because these spawn mags way less now. They have a lower chance to spawn mags. So you can get a lot of like decent items in them. Like you see, I just got an MDR. MDR, I got an M9. Like that's not bad to open. A prism scope as well. Like, hey, I'll take that. MDR is just like 1500 USD. Definitely worth looting. Now there are ammo spawns here, as well as weapon spawns in these lockers. You can check. I never check the lockers, but you can if you want to. There can be, I think a DBL can spawn on them sometimes, so it's worth checking. You can get food spawns over here. You can get, I believe it's condensed milk spawning on this. Weapons crate there, and then red keycard actually spawns right on top of this bin as well. And then what we can move on to is 220. So West Wing 220 is probably one of the better rooms in here. There is med spawns here, as well as there's a gold spawn over in this corner right here. So you can get Bitcoin, you can get gold chain, you can get skull ring. You can go ahead and loot these weapons crates as well. There's these two, and then there's the one right there. So pretty good room overall. And that is pretty much the majority of second floor. There is, however, some free loot over here. There is the duffel bag right here that you can go ahead and search. Which, again, duffel bags are worth looting in my opinion. I don't ever loot this one, but it is worth looting. Like, look at that. Caps, bolts. These are, like, what, 14k? These are 31k. It's 55k right there from duffel bag. That is pretty good. These shelves, I don't see anything really spawn on here ever. This is unlocked with a utility key. I don't ever use my utility key on this. I use it in the East Wing. I'll show you that later. But you can loot it for the jacket if you want. And there are just some, like, industrial spawns here. I don't think it's worth it personally. If the keys didn't have charges, it would be worth it, but now with the new charges on the keys, I don't think it's worth wasting all your charges on your utility key to do this, but you can if you want to. Now, moving on to the third floor of West Wing, there really isn't much up here, but if you want to loot it, you can. Now, there are some duffel bags this way. If you come here, there's a duffel bag right there, and then there's this safe on third floor that no one really ever loots. I have the key, and I rarely touch this. This key is like 20k, so like it's kind of worth buying if you want. I think it's called the 321 safe key. Let me double check that. Yeah, there's a 321 safe, and it's just a safe. I mean, nothing special about it. It doesn't have any better loot or anything else, but like, it's just a free safe. So like, if you're looking to fill up your slots and you want a cheap key, like, I mean, that's pretty good. That's 2 diaries, a slim diary, and a gold chain. So that's definitely a lot of money from this one safe. I mean, obviously it's RNG, right? It could be nothing every time you loot it, but it's worth checking out just in case. Pretty much the rest of this isn't really worth looting. It's like weapons crates and stuff, but like no real mentionable spawns except for all the way across on third floor. There is a couple spawns on third floor that are actually really good on the other side of West Wing. The middle upstairs is kind of blocked off, so if you want to cross to where I'm going to show you, you have to go from the way that I am. Either go up the middle staircase or the back staircase to admin. Now, either one of these works. If you come up this middle staircase right here, you can hang a left, And when you hang a left up here, there is a room that's really underrated that no one really ever checks. This can have Bitcoins, LEDXs, these can be Cyclones. Pretty much all over this floor right here, you can get stuff, so make sure you're looking around. I get a lot of stuff, even lions here a lot, so make sure you check this out. The bed can sometimes spawn stuff, and then duffel bag as well, which you can check. Now, with that being said, there is also a room over here called West Wing 306. Now, I don't have this key personally because I don't think it's worth it. I wouldn't buy it, but if you do have the key because that's required for a quest, you can totally use it. There are 2 dead scabs in here, as well as a med crate that you can loot. The dead scabs are kind of like duffel bags pretty much, so you can loot them if you want to. I don't think it's worth buying the key. It's way too expensive because of the quest, but if you want to do it, you are more than welcome to. Now, 301, in my opinion, is the best key in all of Resort. They kind of nerfed East Wing keys a little bit, and I think this makes 301 the best key in Resort now. You can actually get LEDXs on top of this bin, as well as you can get tech stuff and LEDXs on this carpet. Make sure you put your face in the carpet, because a lot of the stuff that spawns here is actually glitched in the ground, so look around. And on this balcony, I've saw tons of GPUs and fire steels, and even like GP coins sitting right here. And then all throughout this floor over here, you can get tons of things like Cyclones, you can get ophthalmoscopes. I've seen a couple defibs over here, and then there's also tech spawns on the desk. So again, you can get ophthalmoscopes, you can get defibs, and you can get LEDXs. There are PCs here, so you can loot 1 PC, 2 PC. You have a chance to get things that are really, really expensive, like either wires or CPU fans or even GPUs, of course. And then these crates can spawn things like red rebels, the green square ones like this. It's really low chance, but if you want to loot it, like, you're more than welcome to. It's unlikely to get a red rebel out of one of these, but like, hey, if you're here, you might as well press F on it and just see if you get lucky, because it always makes a good clip if you get one. Just a quick AK, but again, if you don't have many keys, it makes up the money, and there are stim spawns in the bed as well. This is one of my favorite rooms. I pull so many defibs out of here, ravens as well. It's definitely worth looting. Now, that is pretty much most of West Wing. The last part we have to cover is the basement of West Wing. Now, a lot of people don't really loot down here, but it is one of the biggest money makers in my opinion. Now, when you come down to the basement, which has, I believe, 7 duffel bags, there's also a red keycard spawn down here. So you come down in this locker, red keycard can spawn right there. So make sure you're checking these every raid, because, like, you never know. If you find one, it's crazy. There are 2 green weapons crates right here. I never loot these, but you can if you want to. There's a duffel bag right here. There's a duffel bag all the way right back over there. Duffel bag right over here as well. Now, pretty much I loot all these duffels every raid because they fill up so many slots. You can make, like, sometimes you get duffel bags where you get, like, you get a GPU out of one or a Bitcoin out of one. I got 2 Bitcoins out of duffel bags in one day on Shoreline, which is just, it's luck, right? You can never get them. You can get them sometimes. I get lions. I get, you know, GP coins, like fuel conditioners. Like, it's worth looting. I check this duffel bag as well, and then I also go ahead and I check this one, and then there are a couple more over here where you can go ahead and loot this duffel bag. There's also a food spawn over here, and then you can go ahead and loot this duffel over in here to my left. So there's quite a lot of duffel bags for you to go ahead and loot to make a ton of money. Now we're gonna move on to East Wing, and then we'll cover admin, and that should be the whole resort. Now we're gonna cover East Wing, which used to be the most popular wing. I think they buffed West Wing quite a bit, so this wing is still really good, but I think West Wing might have a slight edge on this. But walking in, there's a duffel bag on first floor, which you can come loot over here, and again, duffel bags, which provide a ton of loot for you. But starting off with our first key, we're going to talk about the Sanitar key, which is the key with blue tape. This one can be found on Sanitar, or it can be got off the market through a barter for a couple $100K. Now in here, you can get defibs on the ground, and as well as ophthalmoscopes next to the shower, and I've seen a couple of LEDXs in the shower as well. Now, over here, there's a suitcase, which is kind of like a duffel bag, same loot pool. And then over here, you can get spawns like teapots as well as gold chains. And then on the floor right here, you can get stims. And I've also seen a LEDX spawn under the desk, so make sure that you're checking out over here. And there's a PC that you can loot as well. Now, once we come out of tape key, you can head over to office number 107. Now, this room is kind of underrated. A lot of people do go into it, but not everyone does. I've seen 3 LEDXs here this wipe, which is really kind of insane. There are med spawns here, and again, it's like luck. Maybe I'll get them and you won't. Like, you'll get the rooms that I won't, but it's worth checking out over here. And then there's also a duffel bags right here that you can loot, as well as med bags. Now, once you finish that, you can actually end up walking over here. Again, there's med bags on this floor if you want to go explore that and go loot around. I don't touch those, so I'm not going to really cover them, but you can if you want to. Duffel bag right there if you want to loot that as well. And then we're going to come up to second floor. Now, on second floor, there's a PC right here that I always go ahead and loot because GPUs are back in PCs, so they're worth checking out to make sure that you can try and get a GPU. I do get probably like 4 or 5 GPUs a day off PC, so I'll be looting the hell out of them, but up to you. Now, this room right here, this is a med spot on top of this washing machine, and Letexes can spawn here. It is like ridiculously rare, but it can be there, so it's worth taking my 2 seconds to look and then keep on moving. Now, this key is going to be one of the biggest ones. This is called East 222 or East 226. Either key will work. It's a connecting room. And in here, you're going to have tech spawns on this shelf. You're going to have tech spawns here, a toolbox there, nade box, and in this cardboard box, you can get vases, bitcoins, gold chains, skull rings, weapons crate there. There's also med spawns here, which you can get NaCl defibs, as well as there are treasure spawns in the carpet, so you can get things like ophthalmoscopes, letexes, or ravens. And then this shelf is pretty much where most of the letexes will spawn if they are in here, but they'll be kind of on this shelf, or they'll be like stims all the way at the bottom over here. This is one of the better rooms. Offline loot isn't the best representation of like what the online has, but it does have pretty good loot, and there's raven there as well. So pretty good loot, even if there is no letex or Bitcoin, anything crazy. Now, this room is 219. Now, this is a really good room that you should always check. It's free. On this cardboard box, on this table, and on the floor, you can get bitcoins as well as GPUs. I've not seen a letex there, but I've heard they can spawn there. I'm not sure how true that is, but worth checking regardless. If you've seen a letex there, let me know down in the comments below. But that's definitely worth checking out. Now, duffel bag here. This is going to be room number 218. This is a red keycard spawn. Duffel bag there. And on this desk right here, red keycard can spawn right in front of his laptop. This is like the only one I've actually seen on Shoreline. I've seen this one in the West Wing basement spawn. Worth checking again if you're here, but not like too important regardless. There's a weapons crate back there I just passed. If you want to loot that, up to you. I don't, because it's in the middle of an open hallway. But again, your call. Now, over here next to the sky bridge, which connects both East and West Wing, there is the East 206 or East 205 room. This room doesn't get looted very much. It is definitely worth checking out, in my opinion. And the main reason being there's a gold spawn right here that you can check out. I've seen moonshine on the floor here a couple times, as well as duffel bag right there. And then over here, you're going to have various med spawns, as well as weapon crates. You got one here, one there, and you got one there as well. So we're checking out. Definitely underrated room, and I would definitely recommend going through it. Now, checking out third floor, we're going to start all the way over on the back side. There are industrial shelves right here that can have plex and random various things like the power grip wrenches and stuff like that, as well as there are various spawns for industrial stuff here. They're worth picking up. Plex especially is like 20k a slot right now. Definitely worth picking up. This is going to be East Wing 306 or East Wing 308. Either key will work. I use 306 personally, but either one's fine. Now, this room is great because of PCs. So there are 4 PCs, so you can loot them for things like wires, CPU fans, GPUs. There are treasure spawns right here, as you can see. There is treasure spawn on top of the desk as well as in the drawer. There is weapons crate, and then you can hop over the balcony. And over the balcony, there are various med spawns like this, as well as on the desk right there. And you can get food spawns here. You can get Devil Dog Mayo pretty commonly as well. If you need that for Kappa, Devil Dog Mayo, and there's Sprats right there, as you can see. So once you have done, once you finish loading this, I head over here to what's called East 310. Now, this used to be a really insane room. It kind of got nerfed a little bit, but it is still worth checking out because of the duffel bags. So over on these tables, you can get skull rings, GP coins. Bitcoins used to be very common on here. You used to be like almost guaranteed. You don't really see that anymore. You kind of see more like ravens, clocks, vases, teapots. There actually is a Bitcoin here right now. That's the first one I've seen in a very long time, but it can spawn there. You've seen it with your own eyes. I'm not lying. It can spawn here, as well as we have our duffel bags there that you can go ahead and loot. With that being said, the next room we're going to check out is either East 313 or 314. I use 314 personally, but either one works. Again, a connecting room. These crates, again, worth looting because of the buff to them. Check that out if you haven't. I do loot those now. I used to not, but now I do. 313/314 actually is a LEDX spawn. I've seen this one only twice playing Shoreline ever, but whenever you do find it, it feels good. It's just a quick key little swipe. There are weapon parts here, as well as a weapon box right there, and industrial stuff here you can all check out. And then on this crate right here, it'll be kind of right where I'm looking. There'll be a LEDX spawn that can be there. I've only seen it twice, like I said, so it's not super common, but if you just want to have a key that's super cheap that you can get a chance to get a LEDX, might as well check it out. I wouldn't rely on it, though. Like, I wouldn't farm it for my thick case, but it is there. Now, there's a duffel bag here that you can loot. I usually always loot this one because I'm kind of greedy, but it's a little risky. And then this is East Wing 316. This room is goated for weapon mods. So, you can find tons of scopes. You can find ammo boxes, as well as mags. So, you see I have an MOE 870, which is a gunsmith part, which actually sell for like 50k in the market. There's a Saiga drum mag, which could be an M4 drum mag, etc. And there's like one of these big weapons crates here, which can have a ton of stuff in it because they did buff them. So I always just check these now. I've actually got pretty good stuff out of them recently, but you know, maybe they'll change them again. We'll see. Over on third floor, there is the marked room. I personally kind of just don't really walk in here. Now, uh, this is kind of much like a dead scab that has a bunch of loot pools on him. So you can get like pretty much duffel bag loot off this guy. And there's gold chains that spawn inside of the pig ears that you can check for as well. I kind of avoid the room, but like you can go in it if you want to. I just don't think it's really worth my time, but you can if you want to. Now on third floor there is the 328 east as well as the utility key. Now either key will work. I use the utility key personally because it's pretty much always cheaper, especially early wipe. It is this key right here. I use this because it's just cheaper and it's easier. When you go in here, on this table is a gold chain spawn or a teapot, and then over on this desk where this Geiger counter is, you can get Tetris here as well as there, and then PC to check. There is a duffel bag to check, as well as a bunch of random weapon mods here as well. So it can be a really insane room, or it can be like a subpar room. But that's pretty much all of East Wing, and we're gonna hop into admin now. Now, admin is like our final section of the resort to check out. Again, it's between the two wings, and just a little note about going between the wings. Skybridge is kind of dangerous. A lot of people do be camping Skybridge, so what I do a lot of the time is I end up going through, like, I break this window on first floor, and then I go through this window on first floor. You can shoot one bullet and break out all the windows, and then you can jump across. That's, like, you run outside and then jump across. It's kind of safer. A lot of people just kind of camp looking down Skybridge from, like, the opposite wing, so be careful of that. Now, going into admin, there isn't too much to loot on first floor, but there is something to be, to note. On first floor, there's a PC in here. A lot of people don't check this, but you can go ahead and check this if you want to. I don't, but it's there. Also, an industrial room right here that is kind of worth checking. You can have stuff in here sometimes in these shelves. I don't always check it, but it is there. And then in the basement, there is kind of a Ledex spawn right here. I don't really ever see this one anymore, but it does exist. It's been here in the past. I found it before. I see stims here more than anything, so if you're looking for stims or checking out, there's a duffel bag down here as well. There's that duffel bag, and I believe there's one more. I could be wrong. I don't ever check down here. There might be one more duffel bag down here, but I don't come down here personally because, I don't know, it's kind of like, it's too much to loot at that point, you know what I mean? Just, I check for the Ledex one and then I go upstairs, right? So, talking about upstairs, going to the east wing of admin first, right? I call it the east side because it's connected to the, pretty much the east side of admin. In this back room, there's a red keycard spawn all the way right here on this table. Now, right over here where you see the CPU, you can get things like GPUs, you can get Tetrises as well as right over here as well. There'll be industrial items on these shelves right here. There will be industrial stuff right here, industrial on this shelf, and then you can get tech on this like actual desk and a PC right there. Now, heading over to my left right now, this is a closed room where you can get tech stuff right here, like a CPU fan or a PSU, Tetris, etc., as well as on the desk. And then there's a PC right here, and this is one of our first safes. Now, I kind of forget which one this is. This is the management office safe key. Now, there are two safes that are locked in admin behind keys, and I think they're very worth buying, especially if you are newer to Shoreline and you don't want to spend that much on a key set, because these are kind of things that are never ever looted. I never really see them ever get hit, so I would go ahead and check them out if you want to start off playing Shoreline. It just really is kind of guaranteed loot with, you know, not much risk at all. Now, there's an industrial spawn right here that you can go ahead and check out. They can be corrugated hoses, wrenches, silicone tubes, etc. And then on the corner of this desk is a key spawn. I kind of forget which key it is. I haven't seen it in so long, I don't really remember, but it does spawn here. I think it's 218 if I am wrong. If you're wrong, but I think it's 218. There's an industrial spawn right here as well. And then there is a PC right there. Now, this PC room is very worth looting because, again, GPUs are back in PCs, so you can loot 1, 2, 3 industrial spawn on the floor and on the shelf as well. This PC is kind of hidden, number 4, and then number 5. So 5 PCs all right here, and then there's the other 2 back there. So 7 pieces altogether equals a ton of loot. And then over in this part, the theater, there is a duffel bag that's right here. You can go ahead and loot that. And then on this chair is the Office 107 key. I have not seen this one spawn in a while, but again, it's there. And if you find it, you can use it to recharge the key that you have currently. Now, there's duffel bag spawn right here, as well as this is the management warehouse safe key. Again, another really, really cheap key, and no one really ever uses it, so it's kind of just free loot. I don't mind buying keys like this and using them because sometimes the resort gets looted before I get there, and like I get there late, so I get into a fight outside, and then I run to the resort, and it's all kind of been looted, and I kind of use all of my like free loot spots that I showed you guys throughout the different wings, as well as these like underrated keys because they still fill up my backpack even though I was late, I can make some money. Now, in this room, there's not really much. There's a key spawn in here, and again, I kind of forget the spawn for it. I'm sorry. I just don't remember. It's been so long, but you can check it if you want. I don't anymore because I feel like the key spawns kind of got nerfed a lot. There's an AK spawn on his desk as well, but that's pretty much all of admin. There's not really much else to note. Stuff used to spawn on this back shelf over here. There's a plier here, so I guess you can check it still for stuff. I don't ever look back here, but it does exist if you want to. We're gonna hop into the extract section. So the last thing I want to show you guys is the path to Lighthouse extract, which you have no matter where you spawn on the map, so it's worth knowing about. They took away rock passes, which used to be over here. It was just like sometimes open extract, and now it's gone completely. So path to Lighthouse is kind of like where you go now. So I finished both my loot routes at admin, so when I'm done, I can go ahead and I could go to path to Lighthouse to leave. Now from this back truck at admin, it's going to be a like 275, like 280 degrees pretty much directly this way. I'll show you guys what it looks like right now. So this is the path to Lighthouse extract. It kind of looks like this, where you can see actually part of Lighthouse, the village, if you've been there before. Pretty much we kept it that compass bearing of like 275, and we kept that wall on our right. And we're next to the swamp. The swamp's overhead this way. And all you have to do is kind of run all the way over this edge right over here. And you can follow the rock formation down. And then you'll eventually, on the right, be given an extract thing right here. And then that's it. So it's a pretty fast run from admin. It only took me about a minute and a half, 2 minutes. Actually, probably like more like a minute. Like really, really quick. Maybe a minute and a half. So I want to show you guys all of the keys that I use for Shoreline. Now, I'm going to leave a list of all of these in the description down below. But pretty much is every single Shoreline key, except for 306 West, because that key is just not worth it for how much it costs. With that being said, you don't need all these keys to make money. I showed you guys pretty much every single free loot spot in the entire resort, and a lot of them are really good. However, with that being said, I know when starting off, it's really annoying to have to invest a lot of money into keys, but what you can do is buy a lot of the cheap keys first, and then you could use those keys to make your money back, and then make profit, and then use that profit to buy more keys, and then once you get the whole set, you can make so much money so fast, but you don't have to do it either. You can just buy a couple keys and make some quick money, and buy whatever you're trying to buy, and then that's the end of it, or go back to it later if you want to. With that being said, a lot of the East Wing keys are really, really cheap. Like, for example, 306 or 308, that's a 50k key right there. It's got, like, 4 computers, gold spawn, pays itself back in, like, 1 raid. There's also 205 East, which, again, pays itself back really fast. 40k key, super, super easy to pay itself back. There is 310 East, which is that one that had the Bitcoin in it. 80k key. 314, which has that weapons crate and the Ledex spawn. Where is that one? It's 314 East. 21k key. There's also the utility key, which opens that room that has the computer and the duffel bag and the Tetris spawn. 54k. Like, a lot of these keys are super cheap, and if you go through the list, you can buy whatever works for you. Again, the more you have, the better. You might also want to invest in keys like the admin safe keys, because most people don't loot those, especially like the 321 safe. It's like a 20k key, I think it is. And, like, no one loots it, like, really at all. So it's worth just checking that out to, you know, buy whatever works for you as someone who wants to invest either a little bit or a lot. If you want to put a lot of money into one key, though, I would say West 301 is by far the best key in the resort. 222/226 and tape key are also pretty good. But this by far has given me the most money out of any single key. I've used the whole wipe, and I paid my key back in, like, 3 uses of the room. But regardless, you pay about like 5 or 6 average, and then that's the keys paid back. You made your money back, and then you can go turn that into a lot of profit using defibs, GPUs, etc. So that's my whole list. I'll leave in the description down below, and I hope that was helpful, guys. That was everything that I could possibly think of to loot in the resort. Guys, that was the guide. I hope you enjoyed it. If you liked the video, make sure you hit the like button, comment down below, hit that sub, and if you want to see future guides and know when they drop, hit that bell, as well as join my Discord for LFG, help with your quests, or to meet some new friends, honestly. The stream is live every single day, 12 p.m. Eastern. Hope to see you guys there. And until next time, peace.